Happy Monday, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of 360 Sports. I'm Kylee, and today I'm joined alongside Jacob, Cadyn, and Derrick, and we're going to be talking all things basketball. Today, we do have a little bit of March Madness in there, but we feel the NBA has been a little bit overshadowed, so we have some NBA talk to go over today, and we are going to start off with our headlines. Jalen Green has been hooping, and apparently the Rockets called the Nets for a potential trade between Green and McCullough. What do you think about Green recently and the trade as a whole? Jacob, I'm going to start with you.
All right, well, the trade-wise, the Rockets were thinking of sending, it was Jalen Green and multiple firsts for McCullough. I, myself, think that is crazy for McCullough. Way too much for him. I think McCullough is a great player. He's a 3-and-D. He's very good at it. But when you look at Jalen Green right now, he's an up-and-coming star. I mean, he's proved it recently. Rockets, in this month, I believe they're 10-1, something like that. They might be on, I saw they're on the way to their first 9-game win streak in 5 years, which is pretty ridiculous. But Jalen Green, he's been doing it all. He's averaging almost 23 points. And I think all the credit's got to go to the coach. It's still Udoka, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I think this is going to go to them signing Dillon Brooks and Fred VanVleet, leading to his ultimate development, because he's not only turned into a very good offensive player, but he's also turned into a very good defensive player.
He'd be strapping
for real. And I'm giving that credit to Dillon Brooks.
Yeah. I mean, I agree wholeheartedly. 27.8 points in the month of March so far. He's on a tear. And he's doing so efficiently, which I think is, like, really important because, like, you can fill up that stat sheet, but efficiency is super important in today's NBA. 41.7% from three. And when we're speaking about this trade, to me, I feel like Mikal and Jalen Green are kind of like similar kind of play styles. Not the same. I think Jalen Green is much more athletic, obviously. I think Bridges, you could argue, is the better defender. But what is a trade? I guess you're getting those assets in the first round, but what does that trade do for you if you're the Nets and you're the Rockets? Like, switch them. I think Jalen Green's the better player right now.
I was going to say that, too.
Yeah.
If
so
I'm the Nets,
if they were sending picks with the better player,
the Nets should have. They would have fleeced.
That's crazy to me. Like, I could not get behind that. But
I don't understand
he's
that.
hooping, so.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the Nets definitely lost on what could have been a great trade for them. I don't know. If they're sending you even 2 first-round picks in Jalen Green, and are you giving him back his Bridges, you probably win that trade.
Yep.
But I don't know. I guess they weren't necessarily thinking. But Jalen Green is becoming one of my favorite players. I was talking about him the other day, actually. I just like the way he plays. Like I really like swaggy all-stars, I guess you could say. So like when Jordan Poole was up and coming, I was a big fan.
They got aura.
Sadly,
She's got
the A-word. The A-word. You understand. He's got aura.
Yep.
So once again, I think he could be really good. And if him, Anthony Edwards, and SGA all pan out, it could be a big 3 up and coming for a long time. 100%. That could be battling. That could be really fun to watch.
Yeah, Jalen Green's ceiling is just huge, man.
The athleticism is crazy.
Yeah.
You can see him getting high. Also, what's it called? The Rockets, they might take the Warriors spot in the playoffs.
I would like it.
They're 35 and 35 right now in any one spot,
They have a really good team. They're really young, too.
Yeah.
I think if Amen pans out, I don't even think he has to shoot. But if he can just get on his little, Philadelphia 76ers, Ben Simmons wave, they might be a team to reckon with. But
All
we'll
right,
see how that goes.
And now we're going to move on to our second headline. Victor Wembanyama has been an absolute tear this year and has pretty much run away with the Rookie of the Year. I want to know what you guys think about Wemby and where you think he stands amongst other NBA players right now. We could go top 50, top 40, what do you guys think?
Lock it in top 25.
I said the same thing.
You cannot tell me there's 25 players you'd rather have over him right now.
I'm pretty solid with that.
I think it's a little steep right now.
I was going to hit around there as well.
Yeah.
I like 25.
I think top 40 for sure. Top 30.
You can
argue.
40 players
There's no way.
No way.
No, I'm saying he's in that top 40.
Okay, he's currently right now leading the NBA in blocks. Like, that stands out. That means something. And I personally think he has been keeping up with some of the best in the league.
Yeah.
As his first year, I mean.
I also think it's very important that we remember, like, this is Greg Popovich, like,
True.
And the Spurs. I personally don't believe I'm seeing Victor Wembanyama's full offensive bag. I think that there's such thing as a rookie wall. You got to adjust to the league. And Greg Popovich, you play how Greg wants you to play. Like, I think that give him a little bit more time, and like we can really see him. Everybody talks about the defense, but we can really see him blossom into like full bag on offense, and then 100% top 20 player next year. But right now, I'm going to say 100% top 40. I'll give you top 30 as well.
I think he should have won DPOI this year.
I agree.
That's just me.
Yeah, I agree.
But of course, you're not going to give it to a rookie.
Nope, no way.
But I think top 25 is. I kind of want to do it. I kind of want to just like name 25. But I think he's definitely a top 25 player. I'm taking him over Sabonis.
Oh my God!
I'm taking him over
For the
Sabonis
first time, I've
easily.
actually.
I agree, but the
Easily.
Sabonis
Are you
trolling
kidding me?
is so it's
But-
never
okay,
fails.
But objectively, Sabonis is a top 30 player.
Yes.
He's a top 30,
Yeah.
top
Yes.
25 player. I'm taking him over Sabonis.
Sabonis
Easily.
hate is outrageous.
It's
here.
not. It's not hate. It's
Outrageous.
just. It's truth. I'm speaking the gospel. Okay.
I'll give you that one.
All right, and moving on, we are going on to our next topic. Are we really done with the 90s? So I have personally seen this, I know you guys have too, that there is a social media trend where people are discrediting the basketball play style of the 80s and 90s. So I want to know 3 players that you guys think would translate from the 90s into today's NBA era. And Jacob, you're up first.
Go.
I like the question. Give me some good ones.
I got you with the
I like
first
the
one.
question.
All right, first up, we got the king of fundamentals right here. Bang, Chris Mullins. Shout out
let's go.
St. John's. They missed the tournament. They should have been in. Doesn't matter. This guy, he probably is the greatest three-point shooter behind Curry, if we're being real. This guy, if you put him in this NBA, he's like a Duncan Robinson on steroids. I mean, he's the epitome of hard work, consistency, and efficiency. All right, on to the next one. We got. Come on, look at the guy. He's a stone cold killer right here. All right, if it weren't for MJ, he probably would have won a championship in his career. I mean, this guy, he's Devin Booker, a much better Devin Booker with the Draymond Green mentality. He loved to talk trash, and who doesn't love to talk trash, right? I mean, if I saw this guy in the court and he's talking trash to me, it would enrage me looking at him. All right, on to the next one. We're into the
Reminds me of
physical
Chris Middleton.
specimen, David Robinson. Can you imagine? Can you imagine Cody or Miles Zeller trying to guard this guy in the NBA? This guy, he won an MVP, won a championship. Think he won Depoy. He could do everything. I mean, there's not one flaw in his game. I mean, all right, we were just glazing Wemby, but imagine Wemby guarding this guy. He'd drop another 80 like Embiid did. He had 70 back in the day. He could definitely do it again. And yeah, these are my top 3. I'm gonna roll with them.
All
I like
right.
that.
Word.
Okay, no,
Thank
that
you,
was
sir.
very solid. That was good.
Solid.
Cadyn, you're up
very good.
next.
Yup.
That was great. Great start.
All
Great
right.
start, guys. Let's keep it going.
Let's roll. Number 1 player I chose, Gary Payton, the
Beautiful.
glove. Absolute dog on the defensive end. We know that. But a lot of people don't realize, like, he averaged 16 and 8 in his career. He was a great, like, playmaker. And the longevity was insane. In today's NBA, I think that we talk about, oh, Kawhi never plays, LeBron never plays, AD never plays, blah, 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 blah. To start his career, he played 81 or 82 games, 5 straight seasons. Like, that is crazy, valuable longevity. You want a guy that's playing every night, especially, I guess his comparison could be like a Drew Holiday, defensive-minded guard,
I like
play
that.
makes,
Yep.
Can score too, doesn't have to, but can. And so I think that he could translate so easily, like, not even funny. Next one. Dikembe Mutombo. Absolute dog. And you might be thinking, like, offensively,
Yeah.
offensively, I don't know. But Rudy Gobert came to mind. And I want to see Mutombo in the paint against Embiid, Jokic,
Fair.
Katz, Gobert, Wemby. I want to see it. He could cover so much ground in the paint and just erase people. And he wasn't doing it against scrubs. I was watching clips earlier today. I was like, this is Sean Kemp. He blocked him 3 times on one possession, You know how Angel Reese will put up like 3 shots and get the offensive rebound each time and then puts the last one? He was doing that to Sean Kemp. Absolute dog. Offensively, the fit in today's NBA might not be there, but he was insanely athletic, 7'2". I want to see him in today's NBA. I think it could work as like an Embiid stopper in the playoffs, maybe off the bench. I don't know. That's what I was thinking. Last but not least, Tim Hardaway. Not the inventor, but the perfecter of the crossover. Absolute dog with the ball in his hand. I really think that pairing him with a Wemby, like imagine that would be Lob City. Like he could make his own space so easily off of one move. It's honestly kind of crazy to see, like, watching clips from the 90s of him just absolutely cooking guys on the perimeter. I don't see why he wouldn't work in today's NBA. And those are my three. I think they're all solid.
I like how none of us chose like really superstars.
I was not
to
going to
leave
pick
it out.
Shaq
I
or
really
anybody.
did that.
Well, I might have, but it's okay. It's
okay.
okay.
That's okay.
Gotta
That's
see the
okay.
best for them.
All right,
very good.
Derek's
Okay,
picks
my
are
picks.
next.
Okay.
All right, let's
So
see it.
I went with more swaggy Hooper base, of course. You know, Charles
Yo,
Barkley,
yeah.
Chuck.
27 and 12 in his best year. In a league where the paint was emphasized on, we're gonna stop that. You're not gonna be able to take any jumpers because you can't shoot them. We're gonna pack the paint, and you're gonna give me 27 and 12. I don't really think I have to say much about Charles. This was like my superstar. Like, okay, that's very valid. Give me my next one. For those who don't know, Steve Francis. I think he could have been exactly, maybe not as good with the ball in his hands, but exactly like Kyrie Irving. We're looking at a younger version
Yeah,
of him,
very
but he
shifty.
was kind of on a leash, I want to say. He was crossing people over. I know we've all seen the clip. He hits the guy with the same move 3 straight times, and then hezzies him, and then shoots a floater. He was doing Kyrie stuff before Kyrie. You give him a lot more space in the lane, allow him to take more jumpers, become a volume scorer. You could be looking at a 25-point-per-game scorer right here. And the next one of my personal favorites, Petty Hardaway. 27 and 5 type of guy before injuries. Obviously, this is without injuries. Without injuries, I think Penny could have been an all-time great, top 5 point guard type of player. Long, 6'7", no diddy, 20 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals. I think he would have been a great player. And that's really all I got.
That's valid.
I think it's very valid.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, Penny's one of those guys where they're like, oh, without Shaq, he wouldn't have been anything.
Nah, I
Like,
don't
come
agree
on.
with that.
All right,
on.
well, my picks are a little bit more people that we see in the news and everything like that, but I'm going to start out with Larry Bird, just specifically to touch on three-point shooting today in the NBA. I feel like it is such an encouraged thing, and in his time, you know, that three-point shooting and three-point stuff was still kind of like not fully figured out, coming out, stuff like that. So just like imagining him in today's world where it is so encouraged, I think he would be an absolute force as far as shooting goes. So that's my first pick, and then I couldn't go without Kobe for my second pick. I think in today's NBA, even though he retired 8 years ago, it has changed so much. He would be at the foul line consistently. He's shifty. He has different moves than you normally see in like an average NBA player. And I think it would have been really interesting to watch him in today's NBA as these younger players come in because of how much experience he has throughout all of his years. And my last pick is going to be Magic.
I love that.
Yep.
I think
love
he
that.
would be an
Yeah.
absolute offensive force today. He has, again, with the shooting, that power forward shot, and just his court vision, his passing, all of that stuff. I think whatever team he would have been put on today would be a complete well-oiled machine ran by him and him alone. So those are my 3 picks. A little more generic, but still just wanted to highlight, you know, putting them in the NBA today and how much it's changed as far as the 80s and 90s go.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like
So-
that.
I
That
mean,
was
like
one
that
of
a
my
lot.
favorite. That was a good.
Yeah, that was a good segment.
That was a good
That was really
segment.
good. I like that.
All right, moving on, we have March Madness with the NBA. So we always see guys raise their draft stock in their performance in March Madness. So right now we're going to highlight one NBA prospect as far as it could be a generic prospect or it could be one that we've seen excelling thus far in March Madness. So Jacob, you're up first.
Okay.
all right. I'm 2 days into college, and we were smoking that JSG
Yes!
pack. Jared McCain, absolute legend. I mean, last night he had 22 points in the first half, finished with 30, set a new Duke record by hitting 8 threes in the game. I mean, he's one of the biggest prospects in college basketball right now. He's a point guard that kind of does it all. He's a very good defender. He's an excellent three-point shooter. And, yeah, I mean, he gets the job done. He could get better as a playmaker, but, I mean, that comes with more experience. He's a freshman. We could see him in the draft this year. You never know.
I like that one because I personally followed him through his high school career and watched that coming
Yep.
up, and I feel like everyone was ready for him to come
Yeah.
in and just kind of like ride behind everyone, but that's a good one.
Can you give me a player comparison? I just want to know what you're
Comparison
thinking.
for Jared McCain. I want someone off the bench like Deuce McBride.
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Feel that. I went with Rob Dillingham from Kentucky.
Shifty.
True freshman point guard. Like you said, shifty, twitched up, creates his own space, scores at all 3 levels, which I love from point guards. And his jumper is so smooth, like 44% from 3 this season. And he shoots off the ball really well, which I think is a very valuable trait to have, especially if you're going into the league. And, you know, there's some concerns. His frame is kind of, he's a wiry,
slight.
thin,
He's a little
slim
slight.
guy. But considering that he finishes at the rim really effectively, he has a very delayed release when he goes up, and it's very effective. He kind of struggled in that upset against Oakland, which sucks to see. He shot very poorly. And his scoring numbers are kind of throughout the season up and down. So that's kind of dinging him in the draft process. But I think he will go to the league this year. I'd be surprised if he returned. And I think that whoever gets him is going to get a steal. I don't think he's going to go in the lottery, but whoever gets to him in that 10, 17 range is going to get a really good point guard.
Yeah, I talked to a guy yesterday who said his ceiling's Bones Highland.
Oh, that's
that almost made me cry.
I'm not even going to say what
I think Bones
say.
is a good player on other teams. He doesn't care about defense.
Ceiling? Saying someone's ceiling is
maybe
Bones Highland. That's
maybe
fighting words, bro.
I think his floor is Bones. I think his floor is Bones. I like Bones. I think Bones would have been really good.
He's just not right now. He's in the doghouse.
He landed on a team that's deep, just super deep with guards.
I'm also so sick of everyone saying these guys are too small. They're not big enough for this. We've had
the league is so small.
You got Rob.
Yeah, but once you coming out of college, once you get into that NBA weightlifting and diet, you'll be good. But that doesn't always pan out. Bones is still a small guy.
Yeah,
that's true.
All right, moving on to Derrick's pick.
Oh, come on,
come on, man. Now, granted, objectively, he might not be a first-round pick.
He's not, but
I'm
with this all day.
I like players that have skill. He reminds me of Zebo if he had a little bit of Jokic in him. I think he's a great player, and I think although he averaged about 12 points, 14 in the playoffs, in March Madness in a tournament, I think he has a really high ceiling. I think he can become a slightly better rebounder, and if he did, that would boost his draft stock a lot.
100%.
But his skill is definitely there, and I wouldn't be surprised if, a couple years down the line I said, this DJ Burns kid is kind of good, maybe like a 16-10 player in the league, something of that type of sort. But he has to put in the work.
Yeah,
that's the bottom line. He has to put in the work.
His vision is so good for a big man.
He's a great player.
He always draws a double on the block and then makes the right read. It's great to see.
I love it.
Yeah, he's dominating.
I love that one, Derrick.
He's killing them all.
Shout out DJ.
All right, and last but not least is my pick. I'm riding the Duke train.
Yep.
Okay.
Going with Kyle Filipowski. I think personally the best decision he made this year was staying for a second year. I think between him and Jeremy Rose doing that second year together just helped build the foundation for this young team. Duke is always generally a very young team. Yeah. He's averaged 17.1 points this season, and on top of that, by staying for his second year, he has excelled in his three-point shooting, which obviously just another thing to add to the list when he goes into the draft. Again, I think the two of them staying together really helps. He has Jared McCain. I am a Duke fan, so I would love to see them go far. Don't know if it's going to happen, but I can't wait to see where he ends up, and I've enjoyed watching him so far this season.
Yeah. Did you take Duke winning your bracket?
No, I didn't.
Okay, who'd you take?
I have multiple.
All right, that one bracket that you're like, this is the one that's going to get me paid. Which one? Who did you take?
Oh, God. All of them kind of suck.
So no one's getting paid.
Well, because I had Kentucky going to the Final Four in one, so that really did me so dirty.
I think I had them finally.
And then, part of me...
I had them one round early. I had them going out second round, so...
I hate riding the number one train. I have UConn winning one.
Yep.
But, a lot of people had Purdue, and I was like, yeah, that's funny because they choke every single year. That's never going to happen.
Okay, stand on business then.
And then
Houston's
a good pick. I did pick Arizona winning one just because, why not? It's in Arizona. You never know. Probably not going to happen.
Not bad.
But
not going to lie, I picked JMU last night, but we don't got to talk about that.
I got UNC from Deed.
Yep.
That's the name of my bracket.
I could see that. I could. Okay. I don't like to admit it, but I could see.
I like it. I think it's very smart.
All right, moving on, we are going to talk about buy or sell. So we have 3 different teams that we are going to tell you guys if we are buying or selling the stock on these teams as the season wraps up. So starting off, we have the Bucks. They are 46-25, second in the East. And we're going to go Giannis, Dames, down year, kind of, what are we thinking on this one?
This is so tricky because...
I'm buying.
I'm
buying. Crazy?
Look, I want to buy them, but at the same time, it's they have been so many ups and downs for this team this year. And look, I get it. In the playoff come, Dame is a different monster. Yep. Okay, he's one of those guys you do not want to play. Now you're pairing him with Giannis. That's a crazy force. But my thing is, the past couple of years when it comes down the stretch, Chris Middleton's in the corner. He's always wide open. They give him the ball. He hits the shot. I don't even know if he's going to be there this year. Who knows? This guy's always hurt. he's a huge concern for this team. And also, are they going to be able to stand with the deeper teams in the league? I mean,
Yeah, because I think those lineups are going to shrink.
yeah.
That's fair.
I think a lot of those lineups are going to
yeah.
shrink.
I mean, when playoff comes around, it's like more of a
It's
7,
like
8 man
about
rotation.
7, 8,
yeah.
maybe.
I do think that this roster is going to be battle tested for the playoffs compared to the rest of the East. You have teams like the Magic. I don't think there's. I'm sure I'm
They're
wrong.
good.
They
They're a
are
team.
good,
Hey,
but
Polo's a star.
playoff experience is a real thing. Is there a player on the current Magic roster that has played in a playoff series? Maybe a vet off the bench, but in their starting
I
lineup,
can.
there's literally no way.
Yeah.
So I think that when you have there is
Joe Ingles.
Joe
Off the
Ingles is on the
bench.
Magic.
Yeah, off the bench.
Wow.
I did not know that, but that I stand corrected. Either way, Joe Ingles is not moving me in a playoff series in the year 2024, unfortunately. But
I like it.
I think I'm buying the Bucks because Dame will lock in for playoffs. Trust.
Nah, yeah, I feel like I'd still buy, even though I got all that. I can't go against Dame and Giannis.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy. I don't know if Dame's going to lock in for the playoffs, but if he gives me like 23, 24 like he's been
That's
doing.
enough for me.
Even if it's not super efficient, I'll take it. As long as they got 34, I think they're going to come out
Yep.
the East.
I
I mean, right off the bat, I went with buy too. You know, still working out some kinks with Doc Rivers and everything, switching that up as far as that goes. But points per game by Giannis himself, like
He's
come on.
him.
Yeah,
Yep.
They're playing so much better defensively.
Yeah.
It's not even close. Like
Yeah.
it looks completely different.
They're
And
going to
I
have to
think
keep
that's
that up.
Oh, Zion.
All right,
Look at
moving
him.
on, we have the
Dog.
Pelicans. They are 44 and 27, fifth in the West. We're gonna hit on Zion's rise and Brandon Ingram's injury.
I'm selling. I'm not buying this.
Because you a hater, bro.
I'm sorry. No, I'm not.
This is
Stay on that
another
side.
tough
But
one. This
look,
is a tough
Zion,
one.
he's a great player and
Stay on
all.
that side.
Brandon Ingram just got hurt. He's
okay.
knee injury. I'm going to be out a couple of weeks, whatever. He'll probably be back way before the playoffs. However, I'm not sold on the Pelicans. I don't see anything that's going to, like, will them past the top teams in the West. I mean, you got Zion, you got
Define
Brandon
top
Ingram.
teams. Like, what are we?
Like, top
define
teams thinking Clippers, Thunder,
We'll beat the Clippers.
Nuggets.
We'll beat the Thunder.
T-Wolves.
Nuggets.
We won't beat the Nuggets. We might not beat the Wolves either. The Thunder are going to lose in the first round. I don't care who they play. They're losing in the first round. As
don't
long
know.
as excuse me.
I actually could
As
see
long
that
as they
there.
don't play the Rockets,
I could
they're
see
losing
that.
in the first round.
I could see that.
As long as they don't play the Rockets, they're losing in the first round.
I feel like everyone's taking the they're too young narrative too seriously.
No, it's
they're
not
way-
about that.
They are way too
Shai's
good
not
of a team
like
to say they're a first round
NBA
exit.
young anymore. We gotta
Yeah.
realize
I'm
that.
not even taking the too young narrative. I just think if they see the Lakers or the Warriors is a better matchup for them. If they see the Lakers, they're losing in 5. If they see the Warriors, I think that could go 7-6. I think that'd be a really good series. And if they won that series, I wouldn't be shocked, but I still think they lose.
Yeah, I'm with Jacob on this. I am also selling because I love Zion. Zion's arguably like favorite player that's not on the Mavericks. I'm a Mavs fan. We know this, but I don't think Zion I don't think Zion can continue what he's doing and kind of pick up that scoring drop off from Brandon Ingram. I don't think his scoring is that sustainable yet. He's a great player. He's going to be a great player, but the West being stacked, Ingram being hurt, I'm just not. I'm selling. I'm selling.
I'm buying, and excuse me, I think I said we earlier. I'm not a part of the Pelicans organization. I'm a loyal fan. Anyway, I'm buying. Of course I'm buying. Now, Zion has averaged, I'm pretty sure, it's 38 and 5 over his last, I want to say 6 games.
That's ridiculous.
Now, he's playing great. The main thing is, when Brandon Ingram comes back, will they continue to be able to make threes? If the Pelicans make threes, they're going to make a deep run. They miss threes, they're going to lose in the first round. There's no ifs, ands, or buts, because the whole team's going to stack the paint. They're going to build the wall. It's going to be Zion's first time seeing it. He's going to struggle in the playoffs. That's my personal thought, all bias aside.
So
I
where's
think
the
he's gonna
ball
struggle.
going in that situation,
You have to swing
in your
it.
opinion?
Okay, so what do you mean? Like Zion
When
off a
they're
drive?
when they're playing the paint and they're
Okay.
trying to stop Zion from getting in
Okay.
there, where's that ball going?
I think-
Where's it spacing out?
So
to?
what they like to do, I'm a ball watcher. What they like to do is they like to run the slip screen
Okay.
with Trey Murphy, is where he comes and sets a fake screen, slips to the wing, they shoot it for a 3, or they post up Brandon Ingram on an elbow during a zone. I think either of those 2 plays would work, but especially he can't get frustrated. If he gets frustrated and then starts trying to run through a zone, it's
Yeah.
not going to work.
Yep.
He has to kick. We have shooters
Yep.
literally everywhere. There's 4 of them. As even Jonas can shoot. They have shooters everywhere. They have to knock down shots. If they make threes, they'll be fine. That's the only thing that's going to stop them.
I think that's a good take.
I think they have a deeper bench than other teams as well, too, which is a good thing to look at as far as playoff runs go. And last but not least, we have the Heat. They are 39 and 32, 7th in the East, and they are only 7 games above .5. So what do we think about this one?
every year we say they're not going to do it. They do it every
And they
year.
do
I'm
it,
buying.
yeah.
I said, won't be me. I'm a buy.
I also
Yeah.
think
I don't care what
are-
that record
I feel like
is.
they're a better team than we've seen the last 2 seasons or
I think so, too.
I also think with the addition of Tyler Rozier, you have another player who could just explode on any night. I think when you pair Rozier, Butler, and you still have Harrow, and you got Bam down low, I think this is a really talented team that can they can basically keep up with anyone in the league.
I actually put Sell on this.
Interesting.
They're going
Just
to make
had to
the
be
playoffs. Yeah, I guess I did.
Fair.
We've been agreeing a lot today. I just,
I think we've done
had
good.
to bring some discourse.
I like it.
I'm feeling they're going to make the playoffs. They are 100% going to. It's ironic because you're right. They do have more firepower than they have in previous years where they've made these like ridiculous runs. But it has to stop eventually. It has to. It has to.
Don't
Their
block your
bottom of
blessings.
the league, their
Yeah.
offense is so bad. It really is.
It's always bad. It's always bad, though. And then
I
they
just-
hit threes when the playoffs happen. It's always bad, and then somehow, some way, they start making threes.
Yeah,
Tell me I'm wrong.
I'm gonna be a hater on here. I love Jimmy, I really do, but I think Jaime is injured right now. Is he hurt right now?
I'm honestly
Yeah,
not
I'm
so
not
sure.
sure.
And he's a big
I'm not so
piece
sure.
of that
But
offense.
I think he'll be
Yeah.
back in time for the playoffs.
Yeah.
Hopefully
And if
he's
they
back.
they're deep.
Yep.
That's a deep team.
That is a
Very
deep
deep
team. I don't know. I'm scared. If Jimmy goes down, we've seen that knee is very unstable. I'm just selling on this one.
Okay, so I have a question. What are we defining as a deep playoff run?
Western Conference Finals.
Yes.
Okay, so
Just making it there, obviously.
assuming they get the 8th seed, Boston first round. Wow. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
Wow.
That's a
Yeah.
tough out, man. I hate the Celtics.
I don't
bro.
know. But Tatum be selling. Like let's be
Exact-
honest. We have to have
Yeah.
a conversation about Jason Tatum.
I can get behind that.
Jason Tatum, if he loses this year again, we have to have that conversation. But if Jimmy turns into that 26-point per game scorer, like I could
That
really
would
see
be
them winning.
amazing
I
to
could
see.
really
I'm
see
sorry.
them.
That would be
If-
so great to
if-
see.
I could really see them
Celtics
winning again.
get, tossed
see
first
them-
round by
Yeah.
Jimmy.
I could see it. And if they play the Bucks, man, Giannis, he just doesn't perform against them. I don't know
Yeah.
what it is. Maybe it's psyche or something. He just doesn't perform against them. But I don't know. I wish we got to revisit this like after
Yeah, I
game
agree.
one.
Yeah.
After game one. If it's a close game, I'm gonna take them to win the series. If they won or lost, if it's a close game, I'm taking them to win the series.
Yeah,
But I don't know.
the Knicks fan in me is praying
Oh,
Lord.
for Celtics to go down.
Oh man.
Praying.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
So
But I'm
is
gonna
every
buy.
team in the East.
I'm just gonna buy
Yep.
because I'm not gonna bet against them.
Yeah.
What
I
is
mean,
it,
that's
two,
very
two
fair.
finals in the last 4
Yep.
years or 3 in the last 5, something crazy. He does it every season, and then this is what we do. Ready? We're in a cycle. From about this time, March, to about July, Jimmy Butler's the best player in the league. Start of the season, he's top 10.
Yep.
He won't perform. But around Christmas time, Jimmy Butler's not a top 20 player. You know, we get back to March, April, starts to get good again. And then it repeats.
Turns into Michael
every
Jordan's son.
single
Yep.
year. It repeats
Yep.
every single year.
So, wait a minute now.
Okay.
Anthony Edwards. We have Anthony Edwards in the West. We have Jimmy in the East. Who is going to get the title of Michael Jordan's son this playoff? Because last year it was Jimmy, but Ant's been going
I don't
crazy.
know.
And people say, Ant, Michael Jordan, they look alike.
I don't
They
know.
play alike.
I'm really interested, though.
They do. Have you seen the side by
I
side?
have.
It's crazy.
I have. I'm really interested though to see what that Western Conference
I'm so
playoffs
excited. I'm so excited.
looks like. Because I think not 1 through 8. Whoever plays the Nuggets is losing.
Yep.
But 2 through 7,
fair.
I think anybody could win. I think the Suns could win. I think the Clippers could win. The Pelicans could win.
No, I'm actually with you. on
If you
that.
Nobody
guys-
wants
if
to
you
see
guys-
healthy Kai and
If you
Luka.
guys
Yeah.
decide to strap, you guys can win. We'll see that.
I'll take that.
It'll be a toss-up. We'll have
It
to
will.
see. We're excited. And moving on to our last segment of the day, we have 360 sports moments of the day. So we have 2 very, very good moments today. The first one stopped me in my tracks on the way to class this morning. The NFL just banned the hip drop tackle. I'm dying to know what you guys have to say about this.
Yeah, I mean, okay, when we look at both sides, right, it's like, yes, it's for safety, the players are going to feel safer playing like this. However, how are you going to just get rid of a whole technique of
Yeah, I
tackling?
don't know.
I mean, that
don't
changes
know.
the game entirely. They said that they weren't going to call the penalty as much, but they were just going to enforce a fine instead, like here and there. But how are you going to,
How are you
pick
gonna
and choose when you're
Exactly.
going to call it
between
and
what
not?
it's going to be? Because what is it? It's a 15-yard.
Yeah, this is
And
a
a first
15-yard
down,
first
yeah.
down. I feel like it's so hard.
Because that's a tricky boat. Because if Devin White, tackles, I don't know, Christian McCaffrey in the first quarter, and you don't call it, and then it's a 3-point game, and you call it in the fourth
Yeah.
quarter.
Yeah.
Yep.
Me personally, I'm gonna have to call the front office.
It leaves.
I'm gonna have to call
It leaves too much power in the refs' hands.
It does.
They already have too much.
I agree.
And while it's so frustrating, specifically this picture is very frustrating. We win that football game with Tony Pollard. You can't dictate what is a hip drop tackle, and it just the idea of the refs of them with a 2-minute drive, somebody gets 50-50 pulled down, hip drop, and they throw that yellow. I'm gonna be like, oh.
This is PTSD in live form, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
He's really having a hard time.
Listen, man.
Don't
get me started.
I know this is gonna cause so many issues.
Oh yeah.
It's 1,000%.
This is going to completely change.
Yeah.
No.
1,000,000,000%.
I understand. I get the safety reason of it, but
Yeah.
at this point, what else can we make safer? Come on, take the game of football out then if you're just going to keep adding rules.
But
I feel
injuries
like that's
do suck.
That's true. They're concerned about scoring too, though.
Yeah.
Scoring's been down.
Exactly.
Defense has been on the rise the last couple of years.
Last year, it was like, wow, these quarterbacks are having what we would normally call mediocre seasons
really bad.
across the board. It's not just one quarterback or two. It's like the top guys are just having mediocre seasons.
All right, and our next moment of the day is Texas
crazy.
A&M versus Houston. Was an absolute classic last night. I was not gonna lie, I was falling asleep.
I thought he got fouled for a second.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, he's going to go to the line and he's going to get to win this. But no call.
This is March Madness to its core.
Yep.
That is everything.
My roommate was dead asleep. I was watching this game. I almost slapped him in his sleep. I was that mad. But, I have Houston winning it all. Houston's the complete team.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it the most fun about March, because the complete team, I'm going to be real, they never win.
They could lose.
They never win.
Yeah.
But Texas A&M played a perfect game. I could have seen them going for a run. They're one of the best higher seeds or lower seeds in the tournament.
They were down, what,
14
with 2 minutes left?
Yeah.
If you're Houston,
I thought they were, after they did this, I said, oh, they won.
Yeah.
And I had them winning too. So I'm very upset about that.
Houston had four of their starters fouled out.
That's gross.
By the end of overtime.
It was sick.
It was crazy.
It was sick.
Yep.
I saw a lot of Houston fans were upset with the calls.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand. Look, every game in March there's a million.
Yeah.
fouls.
Of course.
Yeah.
But
Of course.
It is what it is. It was a sick game.
All right, and tune in tomorrow at 5:30 live. We have our Frenzy show with the guys. So thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of 360 Basketball today. For Jacob, Cadyn, and Derrick, I'm Kylee, and we will see you guys tomorrow.